In this video, we're going to take a look at how to configure a refresh ribbon task. So it's best to start as an end user to take a look at what this looks like. What the refresh ribbon task allows you to do is hide either a group with all the buttons that are within the group or individual buttons. So you can dynamically show or hide buttons or groups at a certain point in time to drive your user experience. So in this example, we have a group called My Opportunities, which includes 4 buttons. And if I click on a button here, if you notice, a new group and 4 buttons within this group has been brought in after the data was rendered. So a rule was created that said, only after data is rendered, show the update buttons to the user. So we're going to take a look at in the Design Studio how to configure something like this. So the first thing that you'll need to do is, in order to create a refresh ribbon task, you need to at least have a single menu, which would also have a group. So you need to have buttons here to even come up with this logic. And once you start creating your buttons and your groups, one thing that you can do in here is you can turn on or turn off the default behavior. So if you wanted to hide this group before any of these buttons are clicked, this is how the app will open, is this entire group with its buttons will be hidden. And that's why you're able to see these buttons to begin with, and this group was hidden. Now to bring this group up front or available to users, that's where the refresh ribbon task will come into play. So let's go ahead and take a look at one of these workflows. And why don't we just do this together? So you can see there's some steps in here. There's actually a decision task, which based on that condition can either go down to the right side or can go down this section, and then there's a notification. But let's go ahead and create a refresh task together. Let's create a new one, and we'll just give it a name. You'll be able to see all the groups and buttons that have been created so far. So these are all the different workflows. And this is where this update button will want to come up with a rule. So you can see right here, you can hide things. You can do a no change, or you can do a rule based, and you can either do this at a group level or at a button level. So let's say you wanted to actually a rule just for this one button. You can come up and do that here as well, but the same thing will apply on how you create it. So let's go ahead and click on define rules, and we'll do an add rule. And then you have a bunch of different rule types that you can pick from. Let's just do something pretty simple to begin with. Let's just do number of records. The data intake, so what is the object that we're going to use here? We're going to select opportunity, and we'll say greater than 0. So what this is saying is show that group if the number of opportunity records is greater than 0. So something very simple. You could add more rules, you can have filter logic, but let's just go ahead and click on save. So here we have this group is rule based. Let's click save as well. And now let's just drag this right into here. So here we have this. You'll notice that it's asking for an intake. So we'll say all opportunities. That's the workflow that we're currently on. And why don't we just connect this also to and there we go. So we've just created this ribbon task, and we'll click save. And you can see our condition was met, and so it now has exposed the update CRM group as well as the buttons. So let's configure something a little bit different here. We'll come back to this workflow. And now we're going to create a rule for this top group. So let's go ahead and do this and say rule-based, define the rules. Why don't we do something very similar and just say number of records, opportunity, and we will say less than 1. Okay, and we will associate the right intake. It's the same workflow. Go ahead and click save. And now the way we configured this refresh task is after the data is retrieved, we want to then hide this entire group. and we want to then show the update. So let's go ahead and click on all opportunities. And you can see our update group is available based on that rule, and the other rule is met as well. And we've now hidden that entire group in buttons. So this just shows you the ability to hide groups. You can even go down to the button level. Same thing would apply. You can come up with your rules, but it gives you the ability to control when these buttons are shown to a user, and you can hide things, unhide, and really drive that user experience. Thanks for watching today's video.